I'm Amy Baxter, editor of Retail Leader, and welcome to Trend Talk. Every week on Trend Talk, we identify a retail trend and give it a deep dive with an industry insider. This week, we're taking a look at exceptional, high-ranking retail executives who are making significant contributions in retail technology. RIS News recently published its list of the top women in retail tech, which recognizes the female retailers who are driving the industry forward thanks to their innovative use of technology. With me today is Jamie Goodman, senior editor at RIS News and expert of this Top Women program. So welcome, Jamie. Thanks so much for joining me. I'd love to jump right in and ask if you could introduce yourself and give me some background on the program.
Yeah, sure. Thank you so much for having me today. So as you said, I'm the senior editor of RIS News. I've been here with the publication for about 6 years now. And Top Women in Retail Tech is in its 5th year. So I've been with it from the start. And this program really aims to salute female technologists who are redefining the industry. So these are the women that are honored for deploying game-changing solutions and really leading exceptional teams. So these are big retailers and women who are really making a big difference in the whole landscape of retail. Our first awards launched in 2017, and the feature was a lot of success. We were still print back then, but it was one of our top 5 articles online for the year. And that first year, we recognized some really exceptional women like Janet Sherlock, who's now the CIO of Ralph Lauren, and Julia Averill, who is now the CTO of Lululemon. So to be considered, you must be nominated by somebody in your industry. It doesn't matter who, you could even be yourself, but you have to be nominated. And the one thing that really strikes me about these awards every year is how really supportive and wonderful the nominations that come in are. We get to see on the back end these glowing recommendations that come from the women's colleagues about them. And that's really the essence of these awards, is lifting women up in the retail tech community. So.
Awesome. Great. Well, let's talk about some of the honorees this year. You know, who are they? What are some of the commonalities between the women this year? And then also what goes into the criteria and the judging process for choosing the honorees?
Yeah, so our honorees are CMOs, CIOs, senior director level positions in retail. And these are women who are really leading their projects and teams. And this year we had a record amount of nominations. Awesome. And what really stood out about this group of women this year was that they were being honored for their accomplishments deploying tech during a global pandemic, which we know, this means that they were accomplishing these projects while their teams were simultaneously supporting retail needs resulting from COVID-19 or creating these new solutions to keep pace with these immediate needs that were just coming at them nonstop, brought on by the pandemic. So,
yeah, obviously it's such a crazy year for retail, and technology really took center stage in the last year and a half as retailers shifted to e-commerce. So what has made a difference about the way Top Women in Retail Tech was presented this year? And what are some of the accomplishments that these women have made? And, what are some of the things that they're focused on?
The top women in retail tech, they're really working on these cutting edge projects. So, you'll see that a lot of them are early adopters, that some of these women are working on projects that will give you an eye into what's going to be big in retail in the future. Mm-hmm. So a few of the areas that they've been working on are things like enterprise master data management, integrating the customer journey, AI-powered demand forecast, cloud solutions, loyalty programs, targeted messaging and video, centralized communication and labor tools, and analytics across the board. And you asked what's different about the way it was presented this year. This year we got to do it in Coral, which is our own interactive digital publishing tool across Ensemble's whole company. But this gives it a really rich experience, and it's very interactive. So on the main page, you really get to see each woman and what she accomplished, her different tech accomplishments. And then there's a fun fact box that you can click, and that will pop out all this background information about each woman, which really even dives more into how they feel about mentors they've had, the progression of women in the industry as a whole, and also some personality questions that are more fun, like their pandemic-born hobbies. So you really get to see a lot about these women. And also, we just see how dynamic they are, both inside their position at work and outside. We have hikers, skiers, a basketball coach. They're just really a phenomenal set of women.
Cool. Well, of those solutions, is there anything that stood out to you as being like one of the highlights of the year of like something that some company really worked on and pushed through?
I mean, I would just say really, again, just seeing them saying like, we rolled this out while we were also dealing with new things from the pandemic. So they already had plans in place that they're working on and contributing to while also dealing with the pandemic. And then specific technology that really stands out to me this year is labor tools. There's just so much talk with how tight the labor force is that, anybody who's working on developing new labor tools, new communication to engage employees, to really get those, best employees that you can get in. It's become a top of mind priority. So, and we definitely had one woman who at least, was working on that in her, for what she was honored for this year and ongoing.
Yeah, great. And sort of generally, why is it just important to recognize women in leadership roles for this industry?
That's a really good question. We need programs like this to continue to support women in technology positions and just close the gap for future retail leaders, because we had just across the workforce such a big setback from the pandemic. I saw one analysis that nearly 2.2 million women left the labor force between February and October, and another that women in tech were nearly twice as likely as men to have lost their jobs or be furloughed during the pandemic. So I mean, we took a step back, and we need to keep programs like this going so that we can take another huge step forward. Mm-hmm. And, another thing that stands out to me, I saw, women-led startups received just 2.3% of all the venture capital funding in 2020. We need to invest in these companies because women-led companies hire more women. So typically, and that's one really good way to support women. Other ways are to promote them into leadership positions, especially in retail, obviously, provide mentorship opportunities, offering flexible scheduling is a really good way, and conducting unconscious bias training, which I think we even did here at Ensemble recently. So, but specifically to RES, to help recognize women in leadership, we really just ask you to get involved with the community here. We have a great community at Analytics Unite. Every year we're looking out for speakers who, we love to feature women in leadership positions. If you know somebody who would want to speak, obviously nominate a retailer for women in retail tech next year. And right now we are nominating people for influential awards, which is men and women. But it's another award that we do that honors 10 people across the whole retail industry. So that's vendor, retailer, or analyst. And, we really want to recognize these people for being leaders in the retail industry. So you can come to our webpage and nominate someone for that and just help us recognize all the great work that everyone is doing.
Awesome. Yeah, I agree. It's super important. And I think it's so great that this was a record number of entries. Looking back over the 5 years since you've been with this program since the beginning, how would you kind of rate maybe where the industry is at for opportunities for women in these leadership roles?
I'm really seeing a lot more opportunities, or I'm seeing a lot more female leaders, like just generally, from my point of view. It seems like there's a lot of people in bigger companies and better, positions. And I've been happy to see, we do pace setters too, and kind of see women get promoted, over a 5-year span into better positions and, keep moving and leveraging that. So it's been really nice to see that.
Cool. Well, lastly, I know you guys just published the 2021 honorees, but is there anything that you're already looking forward to for 2022?
Definitely, we'll have influentials out before 2022. That comes out sometime in the end of the year. So I'm looking forward to seeing who we can get for that. And also, we have CIO awards in 2022. So last year we had 2 men, which, they're both amazing, but I would love to see some nominations for females this year. Lots of good ones. So please send those our way. And just covering what's happening out there. It's been a whirlwind 2 years, as you know, because we had quite a bit of news in retail because of everything going on with the pandemic. So I'm interested to see what amazing changes for the better come out of this, especially for frontline workers. I think that's going to be a big issue going forward. So.
Yeah, great. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining me and telling me about the program. Congratulations to the honorees, and the Top Women in Retail Tech is on RIS News right now. So thanks again, and we'll see you guys back here next week with another retail trend.
Thanks all. Thanks for watching.